I'm actually kind of nervous to be using this potato peeler. I was using it on Thanksgiving and I took a big old chunk out of my thumb. It's like healed up now, but I'm still a bit nervous. I think the problem was that whenever I was trying to peel, it was like not firm enough. I really hope I don't cut myself, but if I do, at least it'll be on camera. Hey everyone, welcome back. Those of you who are new here, my name is Brittany. I'm a health coach and nutritionist, and my channel is all about helping you to create delicious, low FODMAP meals to improve your digestive health. If you're into it, go ahead and subscribe. We put out a new video each week. Okay, so today we are making Zuppa Toscana, which is one of my favorite Italian soups. I don't know about you, but for me, like I've really missed Italian food on the low FODMAP diet. So I've been on a quest to recreate Italian dishes that typically have a ton of garlic and onion, that are a low FODMAP version that I can actually eat that don't sacrifice flavor. So today I have one of those dishes for you. This is a dish that was actually popularized by the Olive Garden. So if you guys are missing the Olive Garden during quarantine, this is gonna be great for you too. So we are gonna be using a little bit of sausage today, bacon, some potatoes, and kale to make this brothy yet a little bit creamy soup. So I really love it because it feels decadent with like the sausage and the bacon in there and the cream, but it's actually very light and brothy still. It doesn't make you feel heavy at all. So let's get started. Okay, so here we have our potatoes all peeled. I like to use Yukon Gold potatoes. I've said this many times before. I just think they have a better, like more buttery texture than russet potatoes, but you can use whatever you have on hand. Okay, so now we're just going to give these a rough chop. I like to leave them in kind of like bigger chunks. It's nice when it's in a soup. Okay, I'm gonna give these a quick measure. Okay, yeah, so here we have about 4 cups of potatoes. Okay, now we're gonna move on to our bacon. Okay, I just have 4 strips here of regular bacon. I'm just going to take a knife and cut them across like this. Okay, set this over to the side. Actually, we're ready to get started. Yeah, okay, that's all the prep. All right, now let's go take our bacon over to the stove and get our soup started. Okay, so today, in addition to bacon, we're gonna be using sausage. I have this one here from Hearty Farms. It's an all-natural sausage, doesn't have any preservatives or anything. And when we look at the ingredients, where are they? Right here, pork, water, salt, spices, and sugar. That's it. No weird chemical names, so that's why I really like this sausage. I found it at Sprouts, but I think you can also order it online. The other really cool thing that I found out recently is that when it says spices on the label, according to the FDA, it cannot include garlic, onion, or celery. So this is actually a FODMAP-free sausage. But do be careful with other things like natural flavors, or naturally flavored. Those 3 things can actually include garlic and onion. So just a little bit of the rules on the labeling. Okay, so I have a large Dutch oven here being preheated over high heat. You can use any large soup pot that you want. I just like using the Dutch oven. I'm gonna start by adding a tablespoon of butter. If you wanted to keep this dish dairy-free, you could just use olive oil. I just want to get something in there to help fry our bacon. Okay, so now that's all warmed up and everything. It's starting to turn brown. I'm gonna add our bacon in there. So we're basically frying this up before we add the soup in there because we want to give it a nice like crunchy texture in the soup. We're just going to separate these. Okay, we're just going to let them fry up for about 5 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. Now you can see our bacon here is nice and crispy. We're going to just drain the grease. Actually, we're not going to drain the grease yet. We're going to cook our sausage because sausage is greasy too. We're just going to push that over to the side and add our sausage in there. If you can't find low FODMAP sausage like this one, you can always use ground pork and then just add some spices to it like fennel and paprika. That'll help give it a sausage feel. Okay, so now we're just going to break this up into chunks. You want to make sure not to break it up too small. Chef was helping me cook this last week and He was really good at breaking up the meat, but it turned out to be too small. So, A for effort, babe. So here we have our sausage broken up into nice bite-sized pieces. We're just gonna like let those cook. We don't have to make sure our sausage is cooked all the way, but we do wanna get it a good amount of brown so that we can get as much grease out of there as possible. We are gonna leave a little bit in there. Like it's impossible to get all the grease out, but you know, that's one of the reasons why this dish feels rich, but it's not actually really that heavy. Okay, so now this is pretty much browned. We're gonna scoot everything over to the side and drain the grease. Okay, that's good enough for me. Okay, now we're just going to add our spices. We have Italian seasoning here, crushed red pepper and black pepper. Add our potatoes. Okay, now we're going to add our water. Okay, so now we're going to add our chicken stock base. I like using FODMAP chicken soup base. It's my favorite. Low FODMAP chicken stock. So we're just going to add 3 tablespoons of that in there. We're not going to add any salt to this because we have cured meats in there, which are plenty salty. And then this stock powder has plenty of salt too. Okay, so now we're just going to bring this up to a boil. And once it's up to temperature, we're gonna cover it, turn it back down, and simmer it for about 20 minutes, okay? Okay, so this has been heating up on high heat for about 10 minutes, and you'll see that it's starting to come up to temperature. And you'll see that there's all this foam on the top. I wanted to show you how once it starts to get to a boil, all this foam burns off. It's pretty cool. All right, so now that most of that foam is gone, we are going to cover it and turn down the heat to a simmer. Okay, we're just gonna simmer this on low for about 15 to 20 minutes until our potatoes are cooked through. Our soup has been simmering on low heat for 15 minutes. So now I'm just gonna check the doneness of the potato. Yep, it's nice and tender. Okay, so now we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. So I know what you're thinking, what about the lactose? But cream actually is made mostly of fat. There is like a tiny bit of lactose in there. So the low FODMAP serving size is 1 tablespoon. Since this soup is made to feed 4 people, a 1/4 cup, you're gonna get, a 1/4 cup of cream is gonna give you 1 tablespoon per person. We're gonna add a tablespoon of garlic oil. I like to add it at the end here because I feel like it preserves a lot of that garlicky flavor. And lastly, we're going to add our kale. I have pre-chopped kale here because I'm lazy. I also like the pre-chopped kale. It has the stems still in there. Since it's going to be in soup, the stems like get nice and soft. But if I was making a kale salad, I would definitely get fresh kale. Well, I would get not pre-chopped kale and then just do it myself and take out all the ribs and stuff. Oh my God, look at that. It's so beautiful. It looks just like the Olive Garden, doesn't it? All right, so now we're just going to cover this for a couple of minutes, turn off the heat, and let that kale wilt and let all the ingredients kind of just like meld together. If you wanted to keep this dish dairy-free, you can use coconut cream instead of heavy cream. I would just use the cream that accumulates at the top of the can and put in a 1/4 cup of that instead of the full can and like the liquid and everything. To me, I feel like the solid that collects on the top of the can and the coconut cream has less FODMAPs in it. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, I love wilted greens in a soup. It just looks like so, I don't know, like healthy. Okay. We're gonna dish this up, take a little taste. Looks so good. Let's go to taste. The broth, it's so good. It's light and brothy, but it also has like a touch of that cream in there and it feels so rich. It's also got like a little bit of spice from the crushed red pepper. Going for this piece of bacon. It's like chewy, but has like a little bit of crunch to it. A little piece of potato, some kale. So good. The stem on the kales gives it like a little bit of crunch. That's why I like to use the pre-chopped bag one that has stems on it still when I make soup. God, this soup is just so bomb. One of the reasons I love using kale in my soups is that it is one of the top sources of vitamin K. Vitamin K helps you increase your calcium absorption, and it helps direct that calcium to your bones so it doesn't settle in your joints and your organs and things like that, preventing atherosclerosis, aka heart disease. This soup would go so good with some of the other Italian favorites that I have on my channel. There's a low FODMAP bolognese sauce. We've got sausage and peppers on there. So you can really like have a full-on Italian night, which I know is really hard to do on the low FODMAP diet without garlic and onions. But try this and I swear you won't even be missing Italian food anymore. You'll just feel so satisfied. All right, guys, well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and go follow me on Instagram where I post a lot of food pictures and like daily like meal inspiration if you're into that. And see you next week.